Christmas! Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show.
Wait, I got a question for you.
Yes.
How long do you think you could hold Mayor? We've never tried that before.
I bet I could go pretty far.
All right.
I bet I could go pretty long.
Do you want me to get a timer going?
Play the music again.
Hold on. Let me get my phone going. I'm going to be ready to time it. Hold on. Let me get to my...
Ha 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 ha.
I feel like as someone who is a Broadway actor, this is right up your alley.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to watch you for the...
Yep. I'll give a big breath.
Yes.
Emilio, play the music again.
This is so fun. I'm so excited for this. I'll catch you if you pass out. All right.
Merry Christmas!
Wow. 26.22 seconds.
That was pretty good.
How are you feeling?
A little faint.
I wondered if you were going to get to 30.
I bet if I was looking at it, I probably could have given it one more little oomph. Yeah.
It's like when you go underwater and you're like, how long can I hold my breath? And like you hear them counting outside and you're like,
right. Yes.
And you're like, I got to make it to 30.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, come on. And then you're
it's harder when you
out.
Don't know what what you're shooting for. Yeah.
Out of the gates, I was like, I thought maybe we were going to be around 12 to 15 seconds. But then like you dialed in.
Sure.
And there was at one point where it sounded like you were
started to fade
falling
a little
off the side of a mountain. It's like, there goes Eric off the side of Christmas Mountain. That was really good, man.
Look at that, though. Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show. That was thrilling.
I'm winded right now. And I didn't even have to do anything.
Here we are. This is episode number 16.
Jeez,
oh, my gosh. 16
How did we get here?
Season 2. This is wild, Danny.
I know.
This is wild.
This is one of those, like, bittersweet moments.
Danny Jordan here, just in case
hey,
you're just
everybody.
joining us.
No,
And I'm Eric Peterson.
I feel like I might be able to hold a long note because my dad, as a barbershop singer, he held this note one time for like 30 seconds in the middle, like a tag at the end. And he's just like, you're like, is he like alive still?
You have to go to a different
just, like,
place.
Lock in, like your eyes just like are sort of gloss over. And your arms up in the air. Like you had your hands up. People couldn't see that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah,
but,
you do have to sort of like remove yourself from your own consciousness.
It was brilliant. But you were still on pitch.
Thank you.
Which was, I wanted to harmonize with you at one point.
Oh, that would have been good.
One of these days, we'll harmonize on Merry Christmas.
That's pretty good.
Or it won't sound good at all.
You got to stick around for that,
Stick
folks.
around to episode 17 or 18 or 19 or 20. But yeah, this is sort of like that bittersweet moment. You know, it's December 8th when this episode's coming out. 17-ish days till Christmas. We were sort of debating about, like, is it 16? Is it 17?
Because it depends on whether you count it. We already talked about this.
I don't even know. We talked about it. But yeah, it's sort of this bittersweet moment where you're like, I'm excited that Christmas Day is coming.
Yes.
But I think we talked about this like earlier on in the season about like you get to this point, you're like, no, like Christmas, I'm not ready just yet. And with that, it's the new thing that's happened for us is it's not just Christmas coming and going, it's the show. The season of the show. Like, granted, we like to keep the show alive and do the stocking stuff for episodes, which I know people like. But it's like the 2 episodes a week, you and I getting together. It's, I mean, I'm grateful.
Yes.
Happy, sad.
Yeah, bittersweet.
Bittersweet, I guess that's the definition.
It could go
of
one of two ways.
One of two ways. Bittersweet, happy. I never thought about bittersweet as a word.
Being one of two things?
Bitter and sweet.
Yeah.
I just thought of bittersweet. Like,
no.
Just one word.
And bittersweet means it's happy and sad.
It'd be like if the word was happy, sad. Mm-hmm. Or spicy, not.
You wouldn't. So you're saying you didn't recognize that it was 2 separate emotions smashed together into one word.
I never thought about it.
You thought it was just bittersweet was
Eric,
the thing.
I feel like I really hit
like a type of chocolate chip. You could get bittersweet chocolate chips.
Yes, exactly. I really hit my stride with songs in reverse. Anything other than that is just like I don't make the connection.
We all have our things.
We all have our things.
We all have our
Some
things.
people are really good at hearing things backwards, which is not useful at all.
Until they make a game show about it.
Until they make a game show, and then
you're golden.
It's going to be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it'll be in reverse. It'll be like, you're not.
You know why I bet you're so good at it?
Why?
Because you love Ace Ventura.
Oh, yes, I do.
you're a big Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura fan.
That's true.
And he has that moment in the first one where he's like,
let's see that in a slow motion replay.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's why you're so good at it.
Maybe that, wouldn't it be funny if when I thought I was just making up words, I was actually saying those things in backward?
Yeah.
In
I wonder if Jim Carrey was just making noises or if he actually figured out what the lines were and then said them in reverse.
Got to get him on the show.
We do.
I mean, he is synonymous with Christmas because of the Grinch.
Yes.
And reverse things.
Yes, absolutely. I actually just thought of something that I just saw like a week ago that is totally on this topic.
Okay.
There is a Coldplay video for Fix You, I think it is.
Okay.
And the idea of the video was playing like a love story in reverse. And so it starts with the breakup and then works its way back to like when they got together, I think.
It's like the last 5 years.
Yep, last 5 years, Memento, all those things.
Yeah.
And when the director pitched the idea to the band, they were like, yeah, it sounds great. But Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay, was like, I want to be in the video. I want to be like the star of the video. And they were like, yeah, but you'd have to like sing everything in reverse. And that's going to be like really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
And what he did is he spent like 3 months and he learned his own song, Fix You, in reverse.
Whoa.
Like literally exactly how it would sound in reverse. And he had to do it so many times that he eventually got it where he didn't have to think about it. They recorded the video, it became a smash hit, and then this video that I was watching was somebody interviewing him like 12 years later,
right?
And he still could do it because it was one of the, it's like learning, your times tables or the alphabet. Yes, like once it was in there, it was locked, and he like sat there and he was like, and it was Fix You in reverse. Isn't that crazy?
He singing it like on key?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. That's a skill.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
That's a skill. We'll have to ask him about it, when he comes on the show. I know they have Christmas Lights, I think is a song that they
Coldplay?
did. Yeah, they have a Christmas song. Have you heard it?
I have not.
Let's
play it right now.
Listen to it. We've done all these, Christmas song playlists. Sure. Inevitably you stumble upon these random songs. And you're like, oh, I didn't know this artist did that. Coldplay has a Christmas song. I think it's called Christmas Lights, right?
Christmas Lights. Yep.
Yeah. Let's
okay,
take a
here we go.
Listen.
I like it already.
I forgot to tell you, it's all in reverse.
Christmas night, another fight, tears we cried a flood, got all kinds of poison in my blood. I took my feet to Oxford Street, trying to right a wrong, just walk away, those windows say, but I can't believe she's gone. When you're still waiting for the snow to fall, it doesn't really feel like Christmas at all.
Pretty good.
That is really good. I like, and it's hashtag Sad Christmas.
It's very hashtag Sad Christmas.
Totally. That's pretty great. I love that.
Correction, it's actually the scientist, not Fix You.
Correction, it was the scientist, not Fix You, for this.
Were you waiting for that moment throughout the entire
Emilio
Christmas
was sitting
song?
there just waiting to just drop that bomb on
He's
me.
like, oh, wait for this,
I'm going to get him
Eric.
so good.
I'm coming for you. Remember when
dummy.
you gave me that voice a couple episodes?
This is a
Was that on a
revenge.
bonus episode that you did that?
I can't remember which episode it was
It
on.
might have been where you gave Emilio like,
Hello, I'm Emilio.
and he's like, all right, here's my time.
It's called The Scientist.
I don't know if you knew that. Anyway, so yes, Coldplay has a Christmas song as well.
Love
I feel like everyone's got to have a Christmas song at
We should record a Christmas song.
We should.
We'll save that for season 3.
Yeah, we want to keep the people coming back.
Yeah.
But I don't know where we go from here.
You know where we should go?
Where?
This is a very clunky segue, but we're just going to make it.
Yeah.
Our merch store.
Merch.
You know, we haven't talked about that in a few episodes.
Yeah.
And we want to remind everybody, if you check out ChristmasCountdownShow.com, we're selling a lot of great merch.
Yes.
And it's not just t-shirts. We got hoodies. We got leggings.
So much stuff.
We got mugs. We got posters. We got stickers.
Puzzles. I think our designs,
pretty cool. Yeah,
our designs are so incredibly cool. Eric and myself and Emilio, a lot of people contributed designs to what is on our website. They're very original. It's not going to be the shirts that you're going to find like that are mass produced at Target or Walmart or not to knock them.
No.
Get your festive wear, but if you're looking for something different where you don't have to worry about like walking around town
and everybody else
or going to like a holiday party or a sing along or whatever, you're like, well, shoot, are there going to be 7 other people with this shirt?
That same L
Odds
t-shirt,
are you get one of our shirts, one of our hoodies, our leggings for sure.
Yeah.
You're going to be the only person.
But you better do it now because
Yeah.
if you wait till next season, then you will show up and everyone at the
Everyone
party
will
will
have
probably
one.
be wearing our merch.
It's true.
Because we'll be so big at that point.
We are massive. I mean, as we talked about in the last episode, we got like over 20,000 downloads in one day, which was just a wild experience. So if you're one of those new people, welcome.
Yeah.
But, we love the new people, but we also love the people who've been listening to this show forever. We've had so many fans who've been here since day one, who are a part of our, Christmas Countdown crew, as we call it. And a lot of those people are a part of our Patreon. And if you're interested in becoming a part of that crew in the most massively merry corner of the internet, please click the link in our episode notes that says, join Patreon. You can join up that group. You get access to a private Facebook group. You get a discount for merch if you join at a certain level. Plus, you get to interact with Eric and myself, who are a part of that group. And you get invited to private recording sessions.
Yeah, we just did one the other day.
Yeah, that was such a blast to see all those smiling faces out in the virtual land.
Our studio here would not fit a live studio audience, sadly.
Yeah.
Of more than maybe 3.
Maybe Emilio and one other person.
Yeah.
And Emilio doesn't even have a seat.
Yeah, Emilio's on the ground.
Emilio's on the floor.
But we could fit 2 people with a nice, comfortable seat. But Emilio, you'll stay on the ground.
You know what's funny about Emilio sitting on the floor is there is actually a chair in this room.
That's empty.
That is holding my shirt.
That is
and
true.
Emilio is
Danny's
on the floor.
Single t-shirt is folded on the empty chair, and Emilio is crunched up in the corner on the floor with his laptop. What do you think about that, Emilio?
I kind of am fine with it because whenever we have to fix the cameras and get them up and rolling again,
You're in a better spot.
it's an easier spot because I can quickly lean over instead of having to climb over.
That's
all the
fair.
chairs.
That's fair. He's
That's
thinking
all
ahead.
the chairs. I see one.
All the tripods.
There are a
there
lot
you
of
go.
tripods
There are a
in
lot
here.
of tripods in here, so we get the 3 camera
Yes,
look. But
yes.
Chairs for cameras.
the-
Chairs for cameras.
I knew there was a reason we didn't put a mic on him. I knew it.
That's
No,
good.
I love Emilio so much. I always
Absolutely.
say to people, you can tell how much I love you by how much I tease you.
Sure.
I think it's maybe the baseball player in me because you're just always like razzing people all the time and you're giving people crap. And it's part of my love language.
Yeah.
I like to give you really
Gifts.
great gifts.
And then just
And
tear
just
you apart.
backhanded compliments all the time.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, Eric, 17 days till Christmas. This is wild. I don't know how to feel. My heart is in a lot of different places. One thing that helps me during this time is people who reach out to us with reviews.
Yes.
And we,
do we have some new ones to read?
We do. We are so fortunate that people are constantly messaging us on Instagram, sending us DMs, saying, here's what I think of the show. People will leave reviews on Apple if they're listening there. And if you're one of those people, please leave us a review, rate us 5 stars. That is awesome. It just helps our show to be discovered by more people, which grows this community. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can rate there as well. But the people who reach out to share their words, we like to share those words as well with our listeners. So I know we've got a couple to get to this week. Do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I got one here from Debbie Niece.
Okay.
And she said, "Hey guys, I just recently discovered your podcast and I love it. Growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. My mom was a single parent, but she always made Christmas special for my sister and me. She was a Christmas fanatic. She would love you guys. But she passed away 6 years ago, so this time of year can be tough sometimes. but listening to you both somehow makes me feel closer to her, so thank you for that. I just heard the episodes where you were trying to come up with a Christmas version of Basic Witch. That was from season 1.
Yeah.
And she says, what about Vital Vixen?
Ooh.
Or Primitive Prancer?
Ooh.
Then she said, that's all I got, LOL. Well, Debbie, thank you for those suggestions. Those are great. Sorry to hear about your mom, but you know what? As we've mentioned many times about Christmas, that, as happy and joyful as it can be, if you are someone or a part of a family that is missing somebody this year for whatever reason it might be, it can be especially hard because it seems sort of highlighted the loss of somebody.
Totally.
But if we're bringing you even a tiny bit of comfort from that, or a little bit of joy, or helping you remember the good times, then we're happy to do that. It is our pleasure. Did
I ever tell you, my grandma, passed away like right after we'd had like a last sort of Christmas with her. Did I ever tell you about like one of the last interactions that I had with her, which will just always sort of be, I think, stamped on like the holiday season for me. This was back in 2017. And she passed away like right after New Year's in 2018. And like all the family came out. It was just like my aunt and uncle's house was just packed full of cousins, like all these different generations. All her grandchildren and great grandchildren were there. And towards the end, my grandma, like, sometimes mentally she was there, sometimes she wasn't. But there was this moment where I was talking to her and she looked over at my wife, Lynn, and, we'd been struggling to get pregnant for a while, as you know. And, we had made the decision to start IVF January 1st. And, we'd been trying for almost 3 years at that point. And my grandma looks at me at one point, Lynn's standing next to me. She goes, so when's the big day? And a part of me was like, oh, does Grandma think that like this is a girlfriend of mine?
Sure,
I was like, well, Grandma, you know that Lynn and I are married. She goes, I know that. I'm talking about the baby. And
that's
like,
so cool.
It just, I'll get, choked up thinking. I mean, my grandma and I were so incredibly close. She was like a second mother to me. When my folks split, my mom and I moved back in with her. And, I like to think that her and Emerson sort of passed each other, and she sort of, handed her off, as it were. And
I love that.
So like, that's the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, the absence of loved ones, but I think, we can, there's the sadness there, but then I think as we process that, we can also remember the good times and those special moments that we had with them at the holiday season. And what I always say is like, I think the reason we cry is because it matters, and that is the exchange of love. Is the feeling of loss, and I think it's just as important when we're feeling that sadness to remember that the reason we feel sad is because of all the good times we were blessed to have experienced with those people. So sending my love to Debbie for sure. This next review is coming to us all the way from Australia.
Ooh, Australia.
Yes. This one just came in, and this actually was a DM that we received yesterday.
Fantastic. Tell us what it says.
I'm not going to do this in Australia. I feel like there's like one thing. Did we do this in season 1 where I was like, I feel like there was like one thing I can say in like with an Australian accent because I produced a show with a chef who was Australian.
Okay. What is it?
I can't even remember it now.
Is it G'day, mate?
No, it was like legend. He always called me a legend.
Legendary.
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah, that was good.
Hey,
that was very good.
Okay, that's where I stop. All right, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Anyway, this is coming to us, I believe the pronunciation is Fairlie, Fairlie. This is from Fairlie down in Australia. And Fairlie says, hey, fellas, I've just come across your podcast, which has been keeping me company on my hour-long commute home from work. I live in Australia, and whilst we are known for our hot summer Christmases, here where I live in Victoria, we are in the midst of a huge La Nina, which has us flooded, stormy and snowy with 30 centimeters in the mountains.
Whoa. In Australia.
I don't know what 30 centimeters is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that converts to.
30 centimeters would be like...
Would that...
foot and a half?
You know what I was going to try to equate it to? Was like dilation.
Sure.
11 inches. 11.8.
11 inches. That's almost a foot of snow. That is a lot.
I didn't even know that it could snow in Australia.
Well, now we know. And apparently in the summer.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
wild. She says it's also been positively freezing. Your potty. I love that she calls it a potty. A Poddy.
Potty?
Your potty, like a hot potty. Like a hot toddy.
Yeah.
Your potty is such good festive fun. And while it's hard to access the newest Hallmark Christmas films down under, I'm keeping a mental note of the titles you are recommending for future reference. Anyway, I just wanted to drop you a line to let you know that I'm listening from the other side of the world. Stay merry and happy holidays, mates. With a thumbs up, koala bear, kangaroo, Australian flag, and a sun.
That is awesome.
That was great.
Think about it, Danny. We're sitting here in this little studio in Simi Valley, California, USA, and literally on the other side of the world, someone is hearing what we're saying.
Isn't that wild?
It's way wild.
Technology. We live, I know that social media,
connects us all.
It connects. I know this. It's like a love-hate relationship, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to this. Like, I feel a lot of the time like, oh my gosh, like it's too much information to be consuming all the time. And yes, we have control over that, but also it's how people connect.
Yeah.
And if you want to go connect with people, you're exposed to it's just sort of part of it. And so again, we talk about the yin yang of life is that, like, yes, there are some drawbacks to social media and technology and how connected we are, but there are some really beautiful aspects of it as well.
Yeah.
That we can connect with the world. Over 175 countries we have connected with over the last year. And that's a gift.
And what's cool? What I hope, that while that being sort of a selfish thing for us, that we feel like we get to connect with all these people, I would hope that for those of you that are listening to this, whether you've written a review or not, if you are random places throughout the globe, just knowing that there are other people like you that love Christmas so much enough to listen to it not on Christmas Day, and that there are people in this world that celebrate positivity and celebrate the hope of the season and want to think about it and want to listen about it and have ideas and spark conversations about it. I would hope that it would make you feel connected to all of yourselves, all each other, in some kind of cool way. Because it really is, it's very cool.
You know what I'm realizing in this moment? Because I'm listening to your words, and I've been thinking about this from early days of our show last season about, like, why does it impact me so much? And I think subconsciously, or maybe consciously, last year I was thinking, well, Christmas is such like a big entity that, like, I feel like people have already found all the places that they're going to connect with Christmas.
Yeah.
And so to know that, like, we have filled this specific type of energy that people were looking for in their lives. I guess I just assumed that already existed in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Because again, this goes back to sort of the times that we live in, is that when you have an idea, sometimes, I don't know, I'm guilty of this from time to time, and I'm working on being better about it, is like, immediately you'll say, like, oh, somebody's already thought of that.
Sure, yeah.
Somebody's already done it.
Yeah.
But the people who create new things in the world are the people who that thought
push
comes
through that.
And they go, yeah, but this is in my heart for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move forward with it. Because think about it. If every person who had a great idea was just like, well, I'm sure somebody already had this idea, or I'm sure it's already being done.
Somebody could do it better.
So I'm just
not going to more money that can do it. Yeah.
But nobody thinks about it the way you do.
Right.
And that's one of our superpowers in life, is the way we think.
Yes. It is crazy. We're all told that since we're little kids. Like, nobody else is you, and you're special, and nobody else can be you. So celebrate that. Like Dr. Seuss has been telling people that for generations. But we can hear it, but somehow it doesn't land on our hearts or our minds sometimes. And you're so right. If you bring your authentic self to anything, whether it's a new project, a new job, a new relationship, a new friendship, if you truly are just like resting in who you are, who God made you to be, what your personality is, that is the best you can do. But don't think of it as, oh, that's the best I can do. That is the best you can do.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is bring your true self to the experiences that you go through throughout the year.
Dude, yes.
And,
I'm feeling a different energy in this room right now. Like, I just looked at the way you're sitting, and I looked at the way I'm sitting. And sometimes, I think with season 1 of this show, because we were in the garage and we were just talking to, like, our webcams or whatever, I wasn't so aware of, like, myself.
Sure.
But this season, because we have the cameras all around, the lights, sometimes I'm like, am I sitting up right? Am I, which sort of takes me out of the moment. But as I look to you and I look to me, like, I feel like we're both very comfortable right now. And it just feels like I don't know, like we've hit this groove now with just like being comfortable being ourselves.
It's like a Mr. Rogers groove.
Yeah.
Because we're like sort of in that sweet spot. I think that's why Mr. Rogers was always so great, is he was totally comfortable.
Yeah.
He didn't have to speak loudly. He didn't have to rush. He walked into the room and said, "Would you be my neighbor?" and like gave all these lessons and stuff, but was so easily comfortable in his own skin and in his own space.
Yeah.
And I think that we're kind of finding that spot too.
What a great lesson for us to learn.
Be like Mr. Rogers.
It's a little bittersweet, you know.
Yes,
towards the end of the year,
There we go.
know,
Bring it back around.
I know. You know, trying. You know me. I like those like boomerang sort of moments. Speaking of our friends down under,
yes,
I like those boomerang. Thank you. I like those boomerang type moments. But yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to my wife last night about our show, and we had just recorded an episode that was like our longest of the season.
Yeah.
And I was like, she goes, "How was it today?" I said, hour and 40-minute episode. She goes, "Oh, I'm so excited."
That's great.
And I said, "Really?" She goes, "I love your long episodes." And I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, because when I think of you guys having a long episode, I think of you guys just got lost in it."
Yes.
And you just were in it and you weren't worried about time and checking the boxes and all the stuff you have to talk about. You just were yourselves.
Yeah.
And she's right.
Yeah.
She's 100% correct. And I feel like we're sort of in that moment here right now. And we're not necessarily talking about Christmas, but we're just
talking about the good stuff.
It's just us, hanging out, which I love. And I'm grateful for you, man.
You too, man.
I want you to know that. So speaking of things that I'm grateful for, and you, I want to say a huge thank you for having me and my family out to your party this last weekend.
Absolutely. I'm glad you came. It was fun, right?
Dude,
we
you
had
guys
the tunes going.
Yeah.
We had the crafts for the kids, which we love.
Love that.
Last year we did ornaments.
Yes.
This year we had a new craft, which the kids were all seeming to like.
Emerson was such a fan.
Yeah.
Like, she loves art. And so like last year, I remember when she discovered that in the backyard, it was like, I didn't see her for like an hour straight, which was nice because I got to chat with you, meet some of your friends that I don't know. And this year again, similar situation. Like once she sees art related stuff, she's gone.
I think that it's always good to have an activity at a party, whether that be a game or like a certain area that like, oh, make sure you go decorate a cookie or something like that.
Right.
Because especially with kids need just a little direction of where to go. And if you have a party that's mostly adults and then there's kids just running around with nothing to do, they're just going to get into trouble. And that's not their fault.
True.
They're kids. But if you give them like, hey, you can make an ornament. You can, decorate a cookie. You can watch a movie over in the corner. Here's a ring toss game, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty helpful.
No, you guys throw an incredible party. And there were a few songs I heard playing in the background. I was like, oh, wait.
From our playlist.
Eric brought it to like actual real life.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just for like the sake of our studio and our show. Like you used those. And I was like, oh, that's fun. But I did have to leave a little bit early and I'm sorry that I had
How was Elf? Weren't you going to go see Elf?
A buddy of mine, Georgie, he's covering Buddy the Elf here in our town. And so I wanted to go support him because he's just such an incredibly talented actor and he's so hysterical. And, I love supporting local community theater. And I felt like you would understand as being a
former buddy.
Part of, what would you call yourself? Like if you're like the buddy gang or the fellow wool wearer or
fellow wool wearer. That's hard to say.
That's a hard one to say.
That's a good tongue twister.
Even as I heard it in my head, I was like, can I get that out of my mouth? I don't know.
Speaking of tongue twisters, did you hear I think it was last week that police arrested the world champion tongue twister person?
Wait, that's an actual thing?
Yeah. He got arrested. I hear that they're going to give him a tough sentence. That was for you, Emilio.
Oh, dude. In my mind, I was like, no, there's not really. Like, how do you even test a professional tongue twister?
Sayer?
Yeah. Twister. I don't even know.
The world champion tongue twisterer
was
arrested. I hear he'll get a tough sentence.
That's solid. Bell, jingle, jingle, if there ever were one.
Sorry.
But yeah, Elf was great, and Georgie did a fantastic job. And I think we talked about one of those songs, the Sparkle
Jolly.
Made me smile.
Yeah.
Just as big. Sitting there in the audience. Absolutely loved it. That was the weekend.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what I'd love to do? A game.
I'm in.
I love games. Now, here's the thing. We don't have Chris with us today.
Chris is still out. He's a popular guy. He's got
busy guy.
His wife. He's got his kid. They're traveling for the holidays. They were looking at balloons last time.
Yeah, but we do have our good buddy Emilio
sitting
on the floor here. Emilio, we're going to play a little game called This or That, which we've done before, but we're going to do it again.
And so he's going to rapid fire these at us?
Yes, he's going to rapid fire these this or that questions to us, and then we'll respond.
I'm in.
Okay, here we go. First one. Gift bags or wrapping paper?
You can go one of two ways.
Now, are we talking about the doing of, would you rather like wrap something or put it in a gift bag, or the receiving? Is it the giving or the receiving?
That's a great question. I also think it depends on what date it is and what time and how soon is the person coming over that gift is supposed to go to.
That is true, because if
consider.
it's a gift bag, peeking is going to happen.
Well, I'm also thinking about like, oh crap, I forgot to wrap my dad's gift.
Right.
I'm not like sprinting off to the garage and be like, gotta cut this paper real nice. It's just like, give me some tissue paper, give me a bag.
Boom, it's in.
Do you think people know
that if it comes in a gift bag, there's less thought and love put into it? I think so.
That you might have scrambled last minute to be like,
so.
Crap, how am I going to wrap dad's gift?
I think they do, but I think also most people in today's culture, if they're real friends, they probably also were rushing to get whatever they needed as presents.
Because they had to get over to the house.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good point. We're all just rushing. What I love is when you get like a gift bag that had, and this is just a general note, if you're giving a gift bag gift, we're totally going off on a tangent here, but that's what we do. Don't put a sticker label on it.
Absolutely.
Because I want to reuse the bag. But I'm either going to need to find another sticker that's large enough to cover yours up, or I'm going to have to make the very uncomfortable move of crossing out the name.
That's no good.
I've done that before. Or like you get like the one was written in a ballpoint pen before, so you're like, I'm going to get a big Sharpie.
And just kind of go
over it.
Oh, that's good.
And people know. That's sort of like, I realize the gift bag stickers as labels is like the equivalent of like your registration tag on your license plate.
Yes.
You just keep putting it on top. Keep putting it on top.
Keep building it up. I love that.
Yeah.
I got to say, I do love wrapping gifts.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy the folding. I'm not especially good at it, but I enjoy it. And I got to say that opening a gift, I'd rather go with wrapping paper.
I'm with you on that. There's just something about the sound.
And the finding the spot that you're going to tear from. Like you're kind of like, now my dad loves to do the thing where he tapes every single.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, my dad does that all the time. So you like can't find an opening. You have to sort of like break it apart.
My dad
not
does
on
the same
a scene.
thing.
Yeah, that's a dad thing.
But I feel like it's gotten to the point now where he just does it because when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, Dad, this must be a dad gift. Yeah. And so like even Christmas to this day, he's still doing it. And I will say there was a chapter of my life where I did that as well, where people were like, well, this is a Danny gift, and now, because I'm a dad and, I got bills and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, guys, you really only need like a strip.
We're wasting tape here.
We are wasting tape. I don't need to go through 3 rolls of tape anymore.
This tape doesn't grow on trees.
Right. But I do like wrapping gifts can be fun. And what's really fun is like when you wrap one that you're really proud of, and you're like, because some of them you're like, wow, those folds.
That is not going to hold.
Way off.
Yeah.
Like one's like goes really far down on one side, and the other one's like you're literally like squeezing it together,
just barely holding
and
together.
And then you cut like a little strip to cover up the part that's exposed on the gift. So
you know what else I love to do is with wrapping gifts is when you're like at the end of the paper, but you're trying to make it work, and you have like because it's never the right size, right? Like you're always taking like a square out of the roll, right? And so then you get these mismatched like shapes, and I like to take all of those and wrap something with like this one has like a little rectangle on the top, and then I tape it next to like kind of an oblong oval on the side, and then I tape that next to a sort of long skinny rectangle, and I tape that and I like to sort of mismatch and Frankenstein.
Those are fun too.
Yeah.
I feel like my mom has delivered some of those. She goes, well, I only had this much left of the Care Bear paper. And I'm like, Mom, you've had that Care Bear paper since I was like 7. Like, I just assumed you would have thrown it away by now. She's like, I don't want to waste it. So I guess, to bring this back around, I think wrapping
paper
over gift bag. Yeah.
All right, wrapping paper. That's our answer.
Next one. Pet penguin or pet reindeer?
Whoa. Ooh. Pet penguin or pet reindeer?
Penguin.
Penguin?
Penguin.
I don't know. This is very apropos because we just did our reindeer names episode, and we read a review in there from somebody who worked as a zookeeper
with penguins.
Yeah.
I think I would go reindeer. I don't know.
Tough. I feel like a
reindeer, you need a whole stable.
Yeah.
Much more upkeep,
More space to move around.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like a penguin, if you kept your house cold enough,
that was going to be my question.
Could just sleep in your bed.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
What was the Mr. Popper's penguins?
Mr. Popper's penguins, yeah.
I was trying to think, like, are penguins, are they high maintenance? Like, do they need a cold
I mean, they live in Antarctica where there's nothing. It's just cold.
But they also are at zoos.
Sure.
Which are not always cold.
Sure.
Like, if they're just out in, like, the habitat.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's sort of like...
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to keep your house, like, sub-zero. I think you'd probably want to keep it brisk.
Right.
You wouldn't have the air at, like, 75, but you might keep it at 50. But that's pretty cool.
But who would you have more fun with?
Reindeer.
Because you could, like, I feel like I could put a leash on him.
Totally. I mean, could you imagine walking your reindeer down the street?
Just imagine the looks of people driving by. They'd be like, "Oh my god, is that a reindeer?"
You could bring him to the dog park.
Oh my
god!
Like,
this is my four-legged friend.
Yes, he'll be going to the large dog side. Yes. What kind of breed is that? Why don't you mind your business?
Yeah, he's a mixture. He's a rein and deer. Reindeer.
So what would we go with? That's a hard one. Penguins are so cute.
Let's go penguin.
I'm going to go.
You're going to go reindeer?
Yeah, just
I'm going to go penguin.
Like shock and awe of the whole thing. I think
all right, that's our answer.
Yep,
we're split on this one.
All right, how many we got? Like one or two more here?
3 more.
3 more. Oh, okay.
How about this? Ham or turkey?
Oof. What's a hammer turkey? Is it like you hammer your turkey?
MC Hammer Turkey.
Hammer time. Imagine like turkey with hammer pants on. It's a hammer turkey. That's funny.
That's good.
We should do that as merch that like only people who grew up in the 80s and 90s will appreciate.
Yes.
Hammer time.
I like that. And it can say ham or turkey, but then have a turkey with like
hammer
MC Hammer sunglasses, the big pants, like the kind of like, didn't he used to like kind of shave like lines in his sides of his
hammer time.
His
Did
hair.
you ever have hammer pants?
I don't think I ever did.
I did.
Yeah.
They were like really baggy,
big balloony
and like
pants.
Neon.
Yeah.
My dad bought me a pair like in downtown LA, and he actually bought a pair for all of us.
Nice.
Because that's what people did in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Like you would walk out of the house looking like that, and you'd be like, everyone's
look
gonna think
awesome.
I'm cool. Yeah. But I remember I would dance around in the living room, like when he would do like the ho ho ho. I would do that.
That's so good.
As a kid. Now I've just gone for the exact opposite, and I wear the tightest
skinny.
pants I possibly can. Okay.
All right. So which one are you gonna go with, ham or turkey?
This is a hard one. Is it a honey baked ham?
Yes.
Yeah, honey baked ham all day. I don't even have to think about it.
I make a really good turkey.
Okay. Is it honey baked?
I can make it honey baked.
That's a good point.
When I make my turkey, I put some bourbon in it. Ooh. I inject butter into every piece of the turkey.
Okay.
I might go turkey.
Really?
I love turkey. I love a good turkey. Now, I'll say this. Bad turkey, way worse than bad ham.
Yes.
You can have bad ham and it's still ham. It's still good.
Yeah.
Bad turkey is the worst.
There's something about when you got that like crispy little outside with the honey glaze on it, when you get that bite that's got a little bit of like the chewiness or the butteriness of the ham with a little bit of the crunch on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going
What do you like?
ham.
What do you like with your ham?
Like
mashed
corn,
potatoes, green beans.
I don't discriminate.
Okay.
I'll just load up whatever's there. With the exception of like cranberries, I'm not a big cranberry person.
No,
I don't, especially like I never understood that like sliced canned cranberry thing. Like
weird.
That just felt so lazy to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like you didn't cook that.
No,
I can see the lines of the.
We're anti-cranberry here.
Yeah. I mean, I like cranberry juice.
Sure, I don't, but.
Really?
I'm against all cranberries.
Really? Even the band?
Even the band.
Wow.
All cranberries, I'm anti-cranberry.
Is that why you're anti-zombies?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, well that's just...
Zombie. All right, we're split on this one. Ham and turkey. What's our next one?
Right.
A star topper or angel topper?
Ooh.
We have both because we have the two trees. So we have a star on one and an angel on the other. So that's hard to pick.
I think I'm going star. I think I've always had a star.
Yeah, I always had a star growing up in my house, but Lisa had an angel, which is why we have both. And I've grown to really like the angel, but I think just for nostalgic reasons, I'll go star as well.
You know what would be really fun would be to do a line of toppers that were angels, but they were all like what's the magician's name?
David Blaine?
No, the one with the last name Angel.
Oh, Chris Angel?
Chris Angel. Like there was a Chris Angel, and then like Ashley Parker Angel from O-Town. Like, wouldn't that be a really funny collection
Oh my
to
God,
do?
that's so good. At the very least, what we need to do on our trees here is we need, Emilio, for you to print out a picture of Chris Angel and then
Ashley Parker
Ashley
Angel.
Parker
Yeah.
Angel from O-Town, and we'll put one on each side.
That'd be so funny.
And then those will be our tree toppers.
We could do a shirt. Put a pin in this, or type it in wherever we put like shirt ideas. Is "Hark the Herald Angels Sing."
Oh, that's good.
And then it's all different. Like one could be like Shohei Ohtani or
Sure,
like Mike Trout, from the Angels, Chris Angel,
Angels
Ashley.
in the outfield.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Danny
good.
Glover.
Yes.
Oh,
this is
I guess
good.
it would have to be Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
'Cause
he was
one of
the angel. Yes,
oh
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
true.
This
This
is
is good.
happening. This is beautiful. We should play more of this or that because
This is great. It's
you know
leading
what's
to
coming
great
out is
ideas.
Merch. Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it. Although, you know what would be cool would be an angel holding a star. So if you were able to make like a very respectful traditional angel, but it's like arms were up and it was holding a star, because then you could get both.
Ooh, I like that.
That'd be cool too.
That's got to be on Etsy.
Yeah,
I would
probably.
imagine. I'll look it up. All right, what do we got next?
Last one. Sledding or ice skating?
Here's the thing.
Both.
Sledding, anyone can do.
Yes.
You just sit on the sled.
Sit and slide.
you just pray. You know, depending on how steep the hill is.
Sure.
And even if you don't have a sled, get a big trash bag. Did you ever do that as a kid?
No.
You never went trash bag sledding?
No.
I remember I went to Canada, like the only Christmas I've celebrated anywhere other than Southern California.
Yeah.
I went to Vancouver, Canada, and they didn't have sleds.
Uh-huh.
So we brought like the huge like outdoor black,
Yeah.
so
they're
trash
thicker.
bags.
Yeah.
They're thicker, and there was enough room for like two people to sit on it. And baby, you just go
And you just
sliding
go right
down
down.
that thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So sledding's inclusive. Like everyone can sled.
Sure.
Ice skating, I'm really good at like going fast, but the stopping, not so
great.
much. I'm like that guy from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Who's like,
Which character was he?
he was the guy who played Benny the Jet in Sandlot.
Oh gosh, what was his name? We're gonna need.
I don't know.
we need
Emilio,
some
we're going to
IMDb.
you for. Was that Mighty Ducks 2?
Mighty Ducks 2, because he was on the
D2.
Olympic team.
Yes.
He was like from. He
Where was he
wasn't the
from?
Texas guy. I don't know if they ever said where he was from, but he wasn't, because Keenan was the guy from Southern California.
Yeah.
They had the
knuckle
cowboy.
buck.
Yeah, they had the cowboy who did the lasso stuff.
Yes.
I can't remember where this guy. He was from Miami.
Was he? That seems.
He was from
seems about
Miami.
Right. Yeah.
But what was his name?
Got it, the meals.
I'm looking right now.
D2, Mighty
D2.
Ducks. I don't know what his character's name.
The actor definitely played Benny the Jet in
Yes.
Sandlot.
I feel like we're gonna hear it, and then we're gonna immediately gonna be like, "Oh, that," or maybe I'll just pretend. One thing has become very clear here today: Chris is faster at Googling than Emilio is at Googling, but we still love him.
I actually wonder if Chris, like, as we're talking these things, total stream of conscious, like, anticipates, oh, they're going to ask this. So he, like, pulls something up. But then if we don't ask it, he's like, all right, swipe it away.
Yeah.
Okay, next, swipe it away. I'm ready. I wonder if he does that. We'll
That's
have to ask
smart.
him.
I
Yeah.
mean, Emilio should have asked him.
All right, Emilio, we've killed a bunch of time. So what's the answer here?
Luis Mendoza.
There it is.
That's what it is. Luis Mendoza. Yes.
Okay.
Mendoza can't stop. Yes, totally. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
How did we even get here? Oh, we were talking about ice skating.
This or
Okay.
that, yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say I loved sledding as a kid. We had a retention pond in our neighborhood,
Ooh.
so we would
What
go.
does that mean? I went ooh, like I knew what that was. what is that?
Retention pond is like at the front of our subdivision.
Okay.
Was it was probably 6 feet deep. Like if
Okay.
you were in the bottom of it, it would go. The slope was about 6 feet up, and it just was like a big area the size of like a soccer field.
Okay.
That was in the front. It was in like all the neighborhoods in Chicago, and it was when it would rain, somehow the water
It was like a runoff sort
would
of thing?
run off into it.
And then
But more
when
often than not, it was just a big empty
I was
field.
going to say, is it just empty a lot
Yeah,
of the time?
yeah.
Ah,
and
okay.
so, but because it had that little slope,
Yeah.
and the slope was short. I mean, like when we would go down the sled, it was sled. I mean, it was like very quick.
Okay.
But I remember me and my brother used to have a snowboard that had like a handle and a rope tied to the front of it.
That's cool.
So like you just stood on it. You didn't lock your feet in or anything like that. And you just held this rope and then you'd go down. So I love sledding, but I love ice skating.
Do you really?
I absolutely love ice skating. I grew up a huge hockey fan.
Okay.
I played roller hockey much more than I didn't even really ever play ice hockey. But I took hockey skating lessons, and so I learned to skate through that. So I can stop pretty good. I can do a pretty good hockey stop. Yeah, yeah.
Really
and
cool.
so my favorite thing to do is go to an ice rink, like a public ice rink.
Yeah.
And most people are like holding onto the walls and like just slowly shimmying their feet across. I like to just go and like just go flying by those people.
Guys. All right.
And, I'm totally that guy. I am 100% that guy. And there was one time we went to the rink in Burbank, and there was like a lady standing talking to her family, like a mom, like an adult mom, and she was standing there. She was kind of holding on to the sign. She was talking to her friend, but Lisa and my uncle Craig was there at the time, was standing right next to them. So I was coming up to say hi to my family. But I came in fast and did a big stop, and it scared the lady next to me so much. I didn't hit her, but it scared her so much she went, "Oh!" and fell down and fell to the ground. And I was like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, "I didn't hit you, did I?" She's like, "No, but you came in so fast." And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, see that? Yeah. I couldn't do that. I'm the like skate fast, and then I do the into the boards with like you hear the where you just hear like the toe of the skates
smash.
I'm one of those people that's to blame for like the toes of the skates, the hockey skates like falling apart.
Yeah.
That was so. I guess I'm going sledding.
I'm going skating,
and you're going skating.
That's pretty good.
Maybe if it was skating at like Rockefeller or Central Park, I guess the setting also.
Yeah, that's true.
And who you're skating with? Is it like a romantic skate?
Sure.
I think I'm still choosing sledding though.
Yeah. That was awesome, Emilio. That was a very fun game.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, there's a very exciting bit of news here. We sort of buried the lead.
We didn't tell anybody this was happening.
I can't believe that we're waiting till this point, but we're telling you now.
We probably should have said it at the beginning.
We probably should have said it at the beginning. But we have a guest.
Gosh, Eric.
Very exciting.
You know, it's always a massively merry time here on Christmas Countdown, but today I feel like is like a new echelon.
This is our biggest movie star we've
I'm
ever
nervous.
had. I'm a little nervous.
I'm slightly
as well.
nervous
this is
as
exciting.
well. Yeah.
We're climbing the mountain towards real famous people right now.
And this is a real famous person.
Is a real
like,
famous
and in terms
person.
of like Christmas famous, like this is like Chris famous. Like this is
that was good.
On the Mount Rushmore of famous Christmas movie actors.
Mm-hmm.
I think this person has to be.
I think
I would put that person on there.
Look at his face.
He's looking around like, wait, me?
You deserve it.
Yes.
Wait, who is it? I want to know who is it.
He wants to know who it is.
It's you, Jonathan Bennett.
It's Jonathan Bennett,
you.
everybody.
Yes.
Make some noise.
Oh my gosh, stop it. I was like getting excited. I'm like, great, who's it going to be? Like I was into it. I'm like, there's got to be someone really famous on the show then.
No, it's you,
and then
buddy.
Like, we're talking about me. That's very kind.
Of course.
But, you know, really, Santa Claus is the only real famous person at Christmas.
Well played.
That's a good. And maybe Michael Bublé. Maybe he gets on that list.
Yeah. And Mariah Carey.
Mariah, for sure.
Yes.
And isn't it cute that they tried to make Mariah Carey the Queen of Christmas when really we all know it's Lacey Chabert? Like, don't even try.
But did you see she tried to like file a copyright and it didn't get through.
Yeah.
And it didn't get approved because I secretly had already filed it for Lacey.
Nice.
This is the tea that is spilt on Christmas Countdown show.
Yes.
Jonathan, we are so thrilled that you have taken the time to hang out with us today. We know you're super busy. You got The Holiday Sitter, your brand new Hallmark Channel holiday movie, which is coming up. You're also sitting in December 11th is coming up, and you're sitting in this very festive space. I love those trees that you have behind you. Those are very cool.
True story. This is my tree. This is the tree I stole from the Christmas house too, because it's collapsible.
Ooh, that's good.
And you take the thing and go down into like a little circle. And I went to the art department. I'm like, these will look really good in my house in Palm Springs. They're like vintage. How do I steal them? And he's like, well, I could just give them to you.
Right.
And so he gave me 6 of them to bring home, and I brought them home with me. So these are the actual famous trees from the Christmas house too.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
That's incredible. Well, you are joining for a very perfect episode today because the countdown we're doing later, Eric and myself, that you're going to join us for, which we're very excited for, is we're doing top 5 Christmas decorations. You've done what I think 3 Hallmark Channel movies that have been all about decorating the house for Christmas. So we feel like you're very, very much like a perfect fit for this theme today. So we're excited.
This is very on brand.
It's very on brand for you. So, you've become like so synonymous with these incredible Hallmark Channel Christmas movies. Have you always been a fan of the holiday season? Is that just a part of who you are?
Okay, weird, because I wasn't really that into Christmas until I started working in the space. Like, I loved Christmas, but I wasn't like into it the way I am now. And between doing Hallmark Channel Christmas movies, and I used to host Halloween Wars on Food Network, but we would shoot all this stuff in the summer. So by the time the actual holidays got here, I was so over.
You were spent.
Halloween and like setting up. And then, because what happens is, you come back from shooting these movies and you've been all Christmased out, right? You've seen so many decorations. And then there's like a few months go by where you're like, I'm not doing Christmas at all. Like, I'm burnt out on it. I'm over it. I don't want to be involved. And then Halloween is over and you're like, yeah, I'm going to put up a tree. Yeah. So obviously, but there comes that, like, you have like this like PTSD from so much Christmas that you're like, I can't look at another ornament at all. And then you come home, and especially with the movies I've done, which are literally based on having too much decorations, like that whole point of the movie.
Yeah. Right.
So like, you come home and you have to
relive
exhale
that,
and kind of like shake it off until you're excited for it again.
Do you have any standing rules personally about like when it's okay to start decorating for Christmas, inside, outside your house? What's your feeling on that?
Well, I would leave the Christmas lights up all year, not because I think that you should just have them up all year, but because I'm lazy. Sure. So I would just leave them up if the HOA wouldn't come down on us.
Right, yeah.
But last they do. So we take them down in January, but I put them up in October because we're always gone a lot during the holidays for Christmas Con or promoting our movies or doing all this traveling for like our gay travel company Outbound. So like we're always traveling during the holidays. So like I have to put them up early so I can actually enjoy them at the house a little bit before we leave.
Oh yeah. I mean, you are speaking our love language right now. Eric and I are like, decorate early, decorate often, like inside, outside. Absolutely. I am the first person in my neighborhood to get the lights up every year. And it's a point of pride for me. I love when I get really disgusted looks from my neighbors. I'm like, already? Yeah. And I'm like, darn right already.
Because they were like, they're like 4th of July, not a good time to start decorating.
But if it's good,
that's why you're getting the weird looks.
Yeah, but my feeling is like if looking at the decorations and putting them up brings you joy in a world that's so full of cynicism and crap, isn't it great to just like find the things that make us happy and celebrate them?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's why, as Jonathan shared, like 4th of July, baby.
Let's do it.
I use Christmas in July as like an excuse to put it on. Like, well, I'm not going to take them down now. I don't know if that'd be a good idea. But no, I wait until right after Halloween is usually when I start putting them up. So let's chat a little bit about The Holiday Sitter. This is your brand new movie that's coming. Let's wave our hands in the air and shake them like we just don't care. Let's chat a little bit about it. I love that this is an inclusive movie. For me personally, I've become a huge advocate for the disability community. So anytime there's inclusive content in the mainstream media that speaks to my heart, I'm very passionate about it. So talk to me about what it means to you to be a part of, a movie like this that is really putting out a level of representation that finally is starting to happen.
Yeah.
I'm so proud to be part of Hallmark Channel and to be telling a story like The Holiday Sitter, which is an LGBTQ plus led Christmas rom-com, because it's having inclusivity like this in our storytelling at the network means so much, because The Holiday Sitter, even though it has even though it is an LGBTQ plus led movie with leading characters that are, me and Jason falling in love, it is not a movie just for the LGBTQ plus community. It's a movie for everybody.
Yeah.
Because Christmas is for everybody and Hallmark Channel is for everybody. Yeah. So what's cool about this movie and what I'm so proud of is that, yes, we are two men that are the leads of the movie that tell, and it's a story about us, but it isn't just for us. It's for everybody.
It's two people falling in love, which is the story of all these things.
Yeah. So they might be two dudes.
Yep.
you know, and that's the beauty of the movie, and that's what I think is going to resonate so much with people, is that when we set out, you know, as an executive producer of this movie, and I wrote the story,
Oh wow,
and I'm starring in it, like we didn't set out to make a quote unquote gay movie, because it's not a gay movie. It's a movie for everybody.
right.
It just happens that there are two men as the lead characters.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's how we normalize things in this world, you know, whether it's because of sexuality, race, disability, whatever it might be. It's like the more people see it, the more it becomes normal. The only reason it hasn't been normal is because we haven't seen it, and we need to see more of it. And I love that films like this are happening.
Representation matters. It's important for everyone to feel like they have a seat at the holiday table.
Yes.
And you know, I think that's what Hallmark Channel is doing such a great job of, is making sure that the network's for everyone, the stories are for everyone, and the holiday table of the network feels like you can look around it and see everyone represented at the table.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And you know, like you said, you don't know what you don't know, right? And until, well, you didn't say that, I just said that. But when you have stories of representation and inclusion, people see it, and when they see it, they start to identify with the characters, and they start to identify with the same problems that Sam, my character, is going through, are the same problems that a straight guy is going through, and the same problems that, you know, a straight girl are going through. Like, everyone has something they can identify with in the characters in this movie, and I think that's so important, because it shows that it's just humans being humans.
Yeah,
agreed.
Can you tell us a little bit about the plot of the movie? And
Sure.
I was unaware that you wrote it, so congrats on that. That's amazing.
Story by credit.
Sure.
I didn't write it, but I came up with the story.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, basically the pitch went, I called Hallmark and was like, hey, what if we made Uncle Buck, but he's gay? And they were like, brilliant, let's make it.
Yeah.
Since then, the movie has changed and adapted. The story is not actually that storyline anymore, but that was kind of at the root, like my idea for like something I wanted to do. In The Holiday Sitter is basically, it's about my character, Sam, who is this eternal bachelor living in New York City, single, doesn't want a family, doesn't want to date, is totally fine just living out his bachelor fantasy in the big city. Yep. And his sister calls because they're adopting a baby, and the birth mother has gone into labor. So they have to, 5 days before Christmas, they have to go pick up the new baby, and they have no one to watch the kids. So their kids, Miles and Danya. So after thinking of everyone else in the world that could possibly watch them, because they don't want to have to call her brother Sam.
Right.
They do. Sam, you're the only person that has nothing to do for the holidays, because you don't ever come home. You don't make plans. You're the only one with nothing, because you don't have a family of your own. Can you come and help us? And so reluctantly, Sam comes home to take care of his niece and nephew for the holidays, who he hasn't seen in years.
Sure.
So they don't even recognize him at first. It's almost like, who is this stranger in our house? And he ends up having to put on Christmas for his niece and nephew. And so it's a hilarious fish out of water story, which I always find hilarious, of this eternal bachelor having to come home and put on Christmas for his niece and nephew.
That sounds so good. Where did you guys shoot this? Did you get to shoot in New York at all, or what did you shoot?
Oh, we shot in Vancouver.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
So we were in Vancouver, but and what's so fun is that Sam falls in love, or not, I don't want to say falls in love. Sam meets the hot hunky neighbor next door, named Jason, and at first he's like, "Oh wow, I have a hot hunky neighbor. That's the carpenter who's adding the addition onto the house. Right. That's cool." And then Sam comes to find out, without giving too much away, that, oh, he's on the same team as me. There might be a chance.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden, Sam goes from, oh, this is a cool neighbor that just happens to be hunky, that, as a gay man, you're like, oh, wow, the guy installing my, garage door happens to be hot and hunky. That's cool. And then he turns and he's like, oh, and I'm gay. Yeah. Then it just changes the whole dynamic, where Sam becomes a blubbering idiot and can't compose himself around this guy ever. So
that's amazing.
It's such a fun it was such fun characters for us to get to play.
How old are the kids that you're sitting in?
6 and 10.
And how were they to work with? How was it working with the kids?
13, 6 and 13.
6 and 13.
They're amazing. And it was funny because the one kid, Everett, who plays Miles, I was such a fan of both of these children because they're so hilarious. Yeah. But we always had a thing where I would look at Danya, the little girl, and after each take, I would say, do you know what we did? And we'd go, we crushed a little thing where we're like, we crushed it. And we would do that. Or before the scene, I would just look across at her right when they say action. And I just go, boom, like that with my fist. And she'd do it back. And so it's like, okay, we're going to crush this scene. And then Everett, who plays Miles, would, if I would do a good take and be funny, he would keep candy in his pocket. Not a joke. This is a fact. And he would pull out a piece of candy and he'd be like, good take, bro.
Oh, that's great.
If I do a good job, I need to be rewarded. Yes. Okay. I'm an insecure only child actor. Okay. I need validation and reward. So he took it literal and put a bunch of candy in his pocket every day. And when I would actually make him laugh, he would give me a piece of candy. And so I knew I did a good job and that I made him laugh.
That's great.
Oh my gosh. So, Eric and I, we are super obsessed with Christmas, as you can tell by where we're sitting and what we're wearing and the fact that we decided to start a Christmas podcast. I feel like you have to be a certain level of Christmas obsessed to do this. What do you love the most about the holiday season?
I love the fact that it's the time of year that we stop and we take pause and we don't work as hard and we all just take a break. Hopefully, if you're lucky enough to be able to do that, and just, you're with your family, whatever that family may mean to you, whatever that chosen family is, whether it's a, chosen family or your birth family, it's a time for everyone to come together and do traditions. And I think traditions are what make the holidays so special. Like, tradition in my queer household is very important. And we do a lot of things like put up this tree, we decorate, we have our friends over for our version of the holidays. And I think it's that coming back to tradition each year that makes them so special. And that's what I love the most about them.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
That's us.
Having those things you do every single year.
Yeah. There's something
traditional.
I always think, I've not done it as much as I want to, but my kids, I always try to take a picture of them on the same bench each year.
Yep.
Because there's something about like seeing them grow. And I think that's kind of what you're saying is like, there's that feeling of like, we've been here before, it's familiar, but also what has changed since the last time,
Right. And that we're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
We like it. That's what are, right?
Yeah.
We need a sense, we need a place to belong. And the holidays, hopefully everyone has whatever that chosen family is for them, a place.
Do you have a favorite holiday memory, either from your childhood or recently, when you like, if I said to you like, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, this was one that happened at Thanksgiving. This is a trauma one, but also very funny. I pulled the turkey out at Thanksgiving at our house like 4 years ago. Okay. And I pulled out the metal, the pan that it comes in. You get those disposable pans.
Yeah.
Pulled it out. I had doubled it, so it was thick. Sure. And when I pulled it out, it buckled. Oh. And 375-degree grease and butter went out the spout of the front of the pan. Wearing shorts because we're in LA and everyone's in shorts on Thanksgiving. And the butter went right down my leg.
Oh my gosh.
And I watched my skin melt off and fall.
Oh my gosh.
Gnarly.
I was in such shock when it happened. And so adrenaline just took over that everyone's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. They're like, you need to go to the hospital. And I literally looked at the Thanksgiving meal I had just prepared. And I was like, you all are going to sit down and we are going to eat this meal. And then we will go to the hospital because I have worked too long to not sit and eat it. So everyone shut your mouths, zip it, and eat the damn turkey.
And eat quickly because I need a burn unit.
Yeah, I'm like, we will enjoy this meal, whether you like it or not.
It's like the Thanksgiving version of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
No, that's exactly it. Like, you're going to Wonderful World and you will have a good time. Yes. You are eating a meal and you're going to like it.
That's incredible. Great. Oh my gosh. Was the turkey good? I
went to the hospital and had third-degree burns. Okay. So that was
Was the turkey good at least?
Delicious.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And you didn't.
There's so much butter in it.
And you didn't drop the turkey, I'm assuming. Because you could have in the pain.
Literally, I felt it burning my leg, and I'm like, I'm not dropping this.
Yes.
That's dedication.
I actually, not nearly as bad as that, but when I was in high school, I was taking out the turkey, and we had like a pan that had little metal handles, and my dad was like basting or something, and I was like holding it. And somehow something that my dad did, one of the metal handles like landed right on my wrist, and it had been in the oven for hours, and I was like, oh, I couldn't even like form words as it was like slowly just like sinking into my skin.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, don't drop the turkey.
Oh my gosh. Well,
on that note,
let's speak. Speaking of like the holidays and the roller coaster that the season can provide.
Yes.
One of the things that we love about the holiday season is decorating for the holidays. Are you a big decorator? Like I know you talked about like getting stuff out. Like has that become like a big part of the tradition for you?
Well, it's fun to decorate and put the same things in the same place every year. I'm not a big fan of like changing the decorations. Like I want them all to always be in the same place because then it feels like familiar, like traditions.
Do you get?
Yeah, so I love it. We do a lot of funky stuff because we are in Palm Springs for Christmas, and so all of our decorations aren't your traditional. They're more like vintage 60s, 50s, and 60s.
We love that.
Or Christmas decorations.
Do you have something I was just sort of realizing myself is that I think I want to always be adding every year, though. Like I definitely have the things that I like. That goes there. This goes here. That's always there. But I do like the idea of each year adding either another tree or another inflatable in the front yard or a new wreath or something like that. Yeah. Do you like that, or do you feel like I got the things I like?
Hold on, let me show you. This I get.
Jonathan is going to grab another decoration.
Yes, I do additions to all of our decorations. Like this year, we added C9 light bulbs in the front. So the old school C9, big ones that the ceramic, not the LED. They don't look the same. Yeah. They don't like the same. You need those old school C9 bulbs that get super hot and almost burn your house down.
Yes.
You need those. So we added C9 lights to the front of the house this year. So that's our big addition.
Nice.
But one thing I love is using, these are from Hallmark. I don't know what's it called. Crown, like the Hallmark decorations.
Are those the new ones for this year?
It's every year we add the new Christmas vacation ornaments. Hallmark every year. That's great.
Oh, Jonathan, you are speaking to my heart right now.
It's my favorite. Oh no, I know every word to it.
Are you serious?
Yes. It's my favorite movie of all time. I'm begging them to let me do a version of it for Hallmark. Like, let me do the Griswolds.
Yes. We just did a countdown that was like our favorite lines from Christmas movies.
Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Hey, if you're looking for any last minute gift ideas, I want one. I want Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want to borrow one from his happy little slumber over on Melody Lane with all the other rich a-holes. I want to borrow right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye. I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life. Oh, come on. I did this. Hold on. I want to tell him what a cheap, rotten, floor-flushing, low-life, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, hopeless, heartless, badass, spotty-lipped, bug-eyed, worm-headed, stiff-legged sack of monkey he is. Hallelujah. Holy, where's the time?
Oh, that was beautiful. Jonathan Bennett with one of the greatest monologues in the history of Christmas movies. Yes. And I love that you even bleeped yourself as you were going there.
Yeah, I got you.
No, I was like, are we going to hear? Because I know that monologue all too well, or I guess not all too well. I just know it well. It's so great. So speaking of decorations, the theme of this episode, Eric and I are counting down our top 5 favorite Christmas decorations. We would love if you would share with us from 5 to 1 your favorite Christmas decorations and maybe a little reason why you love them so much.
Yeah, sure. Number 5, these collapsible trees from the Christmas House 2 set that I stole.
Yes.
Because why I love them so much, there's a lot of bang for the buck. They look very festive and fill the room, but they collapse down into a tiny little thing and put in a box.
Brilliant.
And
good for storage.
So good storage. Number 4, pre-lit Christmas tree.
Yes.
Not a fan of real trees. Not worth it. Too much hassle. Nice pre-lit one, but I like this fact that, hold on, they can change colors. Let me show you. Hold on. Yes.
Ooh.
See, that can change colors, so that way you can set the mood. I love that. I'm a big fan of trees, if you can't tell. Yes. Number 3, these vintage pink and teal trees.
I like those.
That I have. Why do I love them so much? Well, because I like things that are traditional but not. So all these things aren't your typical like Christmas colors and like very like red and green traditional Christmas, everything's a little funky. So I love a good funky tree,
Yes.
right? Something funky doesn't have the same amount of color.
A little wiggly.
Yeah, I like those. Those are fun.
That's number 3. Number 2, my Christmas vacation ornaments.
Yes. Do you have the Clark one with when he's holding the turkey? Do you have that one?
No.
I got that a few years ago,
chainsaw.
and you press it, and I think it's the aunt, and she's like, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America." Yeah, that one.
I'm committed to decorating the house. To do it right.
Can you hear it?
Yes. Oh, it's so
Love
good.
when he goes, Russ, when was the last time I overdid anything?
That's so good.
You're right, Adam. I love those. And then I think my number 1 favorite Christmas decoration is a C9 Christmas bulb.
Ooh.
Yes.
C9 Christmas lights. And there's nothing better because we wrap them on all our palm trees and it just looks so cool and vintage. So I'm all about changing your Christmas decorations, making them vintage, making them old school, making them not the traditional Christmas colors.
That is so great, Jonathan.
Wow.
I think all of those were so good. I totally agree with you on the C9 bulbs.
That's a great point.
We have a few here in our little studio, and Danny's mom, when we were putting them up, was like, "You need to turn those off, or you're gonna burn down the whole place."
Yeah.
So
That's why we.
So the next day, my dad brought a fire extinguisher
Just in
to our
case.
studio just in case it burned down or tried to burn down.
Merry Christmas vacation.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
Well, this has been.
Merry Holiday Sitter on Hallmark Channel, December 11th, because I used a fire extinguisher in that movie.
Do you really?
go.
We are
You'll
so
have
looking
see it.
forward to
You'll
that.
Understand why?
Yeah, we are so looking forward to checking out your
Yes.
movie, which comes out this weekend, Sunday, December 11th at 8/7 Central on Hallmark Channel. Jonathan, we're so grateful for you taking the time and want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You were
So
spectacular.
much. I can't wait for you guys to see The Holiday Sitter. You are going to laugh your butts
We're
off.
excited. Thanks, bud.
Bye.
See ya.
That was awesome.
What a nice guy.
He's so fun. I loved his energy.
He literally was like all over his house. Like
Yes.
he was like, I got to go grab this
He
decoration.
kept popping up to grab stuff. It was
oh
great.
my gosh. And he was like moving the camera here, then moving the camera back. And I am so blown away by his love for Christmas Vacation.
Yes, that was really cool when he did that
said I'm a
monologue.
Christmas Vacation fan, I was like, okay, yeah. Let's see how you
Right,
rate on a
right.
scale of 1 to me. And then he went off on the whole
Did the whole monologue.
And he had the ornaments.
Yeah.
I was so blown away. So
was great.
and grateful that he took so much time to chat with us. So make sure you check out Holiday Sitter coming up this weekend on Hallmark Channel. But he counted down his top 5 decorations.
Perhaps we should do ours.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, folks, here we go. This is top 5 Christmas decorations. Now, I should say, Danny, we didn't
Yes.
talk about this, which I kind of like that we don't pre-plan our lists. We try to surprise each other with
Yeah.
our stuff, and we try not to constrict each other too much. So when we give a topic, sometimes we can view it different ways, right? Last episode, we did the reindeer names, and I did this sort of like pairing,
Didn't know you were going to do that.
Right,
And
it
you
just
included
sort of-
Miles.
I did include
Which
Miles.
so
That was really cool.
Yeah.
So this one, and I'm curious to see which direction you went. When we were talking about top 5 Christmas decorations, did you go with like general decorations, like I like garland, or I like tree toppers, or did you go with specific? I have this ornament from when I was born, and it's a Mickey on an ice skating rink or something. I'm curious to see which way you went.
So really, my list is sort of like a hybrid of I like this item, but here's a specific version of it that I really like.
I
Just
love
to
that.
give a little bit more detail to it as well.
I like that. All right, so we're going to start with my number 5 here, as
Okay.
we usually do.
Yeesh.
Number 5, I'm going to go Christmas Village. I love a Christmas
Ooh,
village.
that's great.
My mom always did a Christmas village. Lisa does a Christmas village. I love I love how they look. I love how they make me feel. I love all the little like people that are like in the snow, and when you try to kind of put levels. And Lisa has a great village, which some people go the route of going with just one company.
Okay.
I don't know what the companies are, but there's like 3 or 4 companies
Yes.
that like make Christmas villages, and some people are like, I only do company A.
This company, right.
Ours is a little bit more of a mix, which I kind of like. As long as they don't drastically contrast, I think it's cool to go that
Right.
way. So I love a good Christmas village. We also have We have 3 Christmas villages in our house.
Whoa.
So we have one that is like Lisa's that she kind of sets up, and we do it on her bookshelf, and she has all the snow and the kids sledding, and there's the theater, and there's the Santa's workshop, and there's the church, and it's amazing, right? But then we have a second Christmas village, which is the Hallmark Christmas village that we got last year from Hallmark Channel.
Right.
Thank you, Hallmark. That plays music, and it's like these 5 buildings all connected, and they slowly light up and then turn off, and they play music. Very fun.
Right.
And then one of my favorites is Lisa's grandmother, her dad's mom, made a Christmas village literally from scratch.
Oh my
like
gosh.
she cast it and like did the pottery of it. I don't even know what you call that.
Right.
But she painted everything, and it's like these little cobblestone streets, and it's kind of one big thing, but it lights up from the bottom, and it's kind of this bluish snowflake color.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So my number 5 thing of Christmas decorations is I love a good Christmas village.
I should have seen that coming. You want to know why?
Why?
Because when you and I went shopping to decorate
I know you'd say that.
this studio,
Yes.
there was a Christmas village set up next to the stuff that we were there looking at. And you were like taking pictures of stuff. And I was like, oh.
It was as if I was your kid, and
Yes.
we went to the store, and I like stopped in the toy aisle,
Yes.
and I was like, I want that, and I want that.
You were so obsessed. And I will say, like, Christmas village, like, things are so cool.
They're so cool.
Like, they had one that I think was like, it wasn't a carousel. It was like,
merry-go-round.
no, it maybe was a carousel.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't a carousel.
Or,
It
a
was
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
what it is. I always get those mixed up.
Yeah.
But it was like a Ferris wheel, and then you've got like the town barber, and then you've got, there's just all these little cool spaces.
Little
And
Christmas tree stand.
And I have looked at them so frequently in my life. And the reason I have not bought one yet is I know. You don't
Once
just
you go
buy
down
one.
that path. Well,
Yeah.
it is hard to start it, because when you just have one, it might look a little lonely.
It's not a village.
But you should, you know what you should do? You should get one and
Okay.
start with like the church or the town hall. And then each year, what's really fun is each year to add a building or a little vignette or a scene or an ice skating pond or something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like for me, it's like I've committed to the exterior of my home. Like that's my Christmas village.
Sure.
Is what's going on outside. And I know myself all too well. I have a very addictive personality. I will go ham on Christmas village stuff. So I'll just leave it to you, and then I'll just keep coming to your Christmas party every year, and then I can just take it in there. So number 5 for me is, this is a basic one. Sort of like, Jonathan was sharing. I love white lights, like the bigger C9 white lights, framing the roof line of a house.
Yes.
It just looks so clean. It looks so nice. And then doing that around like the window frames as well. Like I was torn when I like made the decision as to what direction I was going to go with my house. Because part of me was like, I love seeing those houses that are legit, just like the clear, like the old school clear white lights that they're like custom made for those houses. Yeah. And they just wrap around every window perfectly. I'm like, how do they find that length?
Right.
And then it dawned on me, they just have an electrician.
Yeah.
Make those for them.
Put them in, yeah.
I'm not an electrician. But I just love that classic look of like all the windows that are exposed to the street, just having that perfect white framing around them, the white going around and then around the chimney. I think it looks so, so nice. So I've done that with my house, but I don't know if you remember, I shared with you last year that I started with just like this sort of like the edge of the roof line. And then last year I added, or no, it was 2 years ago, I added along the peak of my roof. And I bought the exact same brand, the exact same like energy saver, whatever these little subcategories are, warm white, and they're not the same color.
They just don't match.
So like the framing, like the roof line, like the peak of my house is a different, slightly different white than around like the base of my roof. And it just, every year since I got those, like this year I debated with myself again. I was like, should I just buy like all new lights? But then I was like, well, what happens if
with those lights,
if these are now like my old lights,
right?
Do I then have to get rid of the lights that are along the top? Right. And then where do I put those? Yeah. I don't know. How do I justify it to my wife? These are all the conversations.
How do I afford this?
Do I have to buy a bigger house just so I can use all of these lights? But yeah, that look of the classic white C9 light framing out a house, I just think it's stunning.
It reminds me of Main Street in Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like just that kind of carnival light sort of.
Yes.
warmness. I love that.
I love that so much.
Great selection. All right, my number 4 selection of top 5 Christmas decorations is our nativity. I love the nativity that we have. And as I was just talking about how Lisa's grandmother made Christmas Village, she handmade all of the pieces of our nativity as well.
Oh, wow.
So she like cast them and painted them. And we got like the 3 wise men and some camels, one that's standing up, one that's sitting down. We have this beautiful angel. And last year, because we had the nativity, and for years, I don't even know where we would put it. I think we just literally set it on top of our piano or something.
Right.
And then we hung the angel off a nail like on the wall kind of above it so that it looked like it was looking down on it. But then last year, I ordered the barn, like a barn by itself, which matched the nativity that I had when I was growing up that my mom had. And I was like, oh, it's like the same barn. And it's just got that kind of like mossy green stuff all over it, you know? And so now we put all of the nativity into that barn, and we have the angel sort of hangs nicely on the tip of the barn. So it kind of looks like it's looking down. So that's my number 4 is I love a good nativity, but especially the nativity that we have.
What do you think, like, speaking of, you know, you liking nativity, do you love like when churches will do those like live nativities? Have you ever seen those like out of like one night only? They'll do like a live nativity.
Yes, I have seen that. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
You know what it makes me think of?
What?
Home Alone. Yeah. But there was only one live member of that nativity.
Just one?
And it was Kevin.
One night only.
One night only. They actually, right up the street from here, you know that church that's like right up on the corner by Carl's Jr.? Yeah. They do, I think it's like one of the like the 23rd or something, every year they have a live nativity right out that faces the street. So and it's one of the busiest corners in town. Yeah. So you just drive by and there's just people hanging out there dressed like Mary and Joseph and the wise men and all the things. All right. So number 4 for me is I love like rustic mantle and shelf pieces. You know, like a red truck. Yeah. Like a metal red truck with a tree in the back, like a big carved wooden deer that looks like it was like carved out of a log. Yeah. And like you made like the log is like the body, and then like you cut little smaller pieces to be the legs. Yes, yeah. And it's like antique-y looking. Yeah. Like the signs, like the old rustic signs that are like, you know, Santa Claus Way barbershop. Or like, you know, all those sorts of things that like you put up on the mantle. Or on like a shelf or anywhere sort of throughout the house where you just sprinkle in those little elements. I love them. It's basically like home goods. Yes. It's like home goods in your house is really what it is. Like I'm a sucker for that.
I think we both like that sort of rustic kind of lumberjacky look and aesthetic. Yeah. And I think that's also, you know, we're guys. Yeah. So some of more masculine. A little more masculine in the decorating category.
I agree. Nice. But the good news is, so my wife, as you know, she gets to run the interior in terms of decor. I do the exterior. But apparently our design aesthetic is very similar.
Love that.
Because she's the one who buys all these things.
Great.
Some of them I've bought. And I go, babe, wouldn't this look
great? You can put it wherever you want.
I've got the receipt, so if you want to take it back, we could just totally take it back. But I love, and every room has different stuff. Like we have some in the dining room area because we have like a buffet there. Right. We have these like floating shelves above that have like their own stuff that goes with like this little red sort of like sled looking thing. Right. That has like a big wooden reindeer on it. Just all of those sort of little accents I'm obsessed with.
I love that. All right, so we're to my number 3.
Yes.
Number 3, this is a good one.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever showed you these, but I've talked about them before, is our particular set of jingle bells. We got this little strand. It's like a leather strap with a nice thick gold ring at the end. And it has probably like 7 bells, and they are the most beautiful, warm-sounding jingle bells. Like, jingle those little bells there. No shot on these particular jingle bells.
Jingle your little bells over
Jingle
there.
your little bells there. Here, that's kind of tinny. It's kind of a tinny
There's
sound.
not much
to
heart to it. Yeah.
Right. The ones that we have are somehow like a bell, almost like a handbell choir.
Oh,
like
really?
They just sound so deep and full.
Yeah.
We got them when we were in Boston 2 Christmases ago. We went to Plymouth, the like town of like Plymouth Rock, right? And they have a whole village, like they call it Plymouth. They call it Plymouth at Pawtuxet.
Okay.
Pawtuxet. Plymouth Pawtuxet.
I think you're saying it just fine. Yeah.
I think I'm saying it just fine. But it's essentially, they have like a pilgrim colony And so you can like see they have like actors walking around and they talk in the sort of like old Dutch kind of
like colonial, sort of
colonial
vibe.
stuff. Yeah. And you can make like little pies and you can walk around with the farmers and they tell you what they're doing. It's very cool. So it's a very cool thing. And then in their gift shop, they had these jingle bells that we were like, these are amazing. And they were a little bit more expensive than what I normally get from a gift shop.
Yeah.
But they made such a beautiful sound. And so we got them and they hang on one of the doors in our house. And I just always love that sound. Yeah. So jingle bells.
I think I remember you talking about those last season. Because remember, like, there was one episode where I brought in like 3 or 4 different types of jingle bell. I had like a really high one.
Yeah.
And then I had like my front door ones. And then I had like an accoutrement, as it were, of jingle bells.
Yes.
And I remember you saying, you're like, oh, you got to hear my hearty jingle bell. And so when next time I'm at your house, I'll have to give your bells a jingle.
Please do.
Anyway, all right. So moving right along, number 3 for me. This is a simple one, but when it's done right and when it's paired with some of these rustic little mantelpieces I'm talking about, it just sets the mood, and that is lit garland.
Like so.
Like here, like on our set here,
Yes.
but like lit garland that's really, ours is, we don't have the thickest garland.
Sure.
But like there's some that are just like so well groomed and they look so real and they're lit and they've got the berries and the pine cones.
Do you
inside
like
of
it
them.
when you can, like, for instance, here where you can see the lights pretty good, or do you like it when the garland is so thick that the light, you can't really see the light, but you see the light? Do you know what I mean?
I think I like a combination.
Yeah.
Because I try to accomplish that whenever I'm decorating the outside of my house, like the bushes.
Yeah.
I try to like stuff the lights in there so it feels like the light is coming from
coming out of
inside
it,
the bush, but then like my arms get like I still have marks
Thorn marks and stuff
on my arms from like stuffing
yeah.
lights in there. So I think I like a combination of the two, but the ones that are sort of like shapeable.
Yes.
They have like the wire inside where you can sort of like make it bend around things, and then you put, like the rustic old reindeer in there, and like the trees, like the pre-lit little trees, like Jonathan had like his little trees that he was sharing with us. I love just setting little moods in all those little areas, and to me, like lit garland just really, it's a vibe.
I love it. I'm totally with you there. I love that. All right, I only have 2 left. My number 2 is an ornament, but it's sort of a collection of ornaments.
Okay.
Every year, and I know a lot of families do this, they'll do some sort of family ornament each year.
Right.
What we like to do, and it sort of started haphazardly, it was when we were living in New York. I'm just thinking about this now, when I was doing Peter and Starcatcher. So Miles wasn't even born yet.
Oh my gosh.
Sophie was only 2 or something like that, 2 or 3. And we were at Bryant Park.
Those are so cool.
And it was a little, shop, and they had ornaments and stuff. And I think the first one we got was like 3 Santas over a New York City taxi cab. But we like to get the ones that they're kind of ceramic looking, and they'll have something, usually it's like reindeer or Santas or snowmen or something like that. Yeah. And they'll have like a whole family of them, and then they leave a little spot where you can personalize them. So we'll have like Eric, Lisa, Sophie, Miles, and then sometimes we'll get one with our dog's name on there as well.
Wow.
And so we now get it every year. We pick out a different one, which is really fun. We get it personalized. We put the year, and then we hang it on the tree. And I just love that because, again, we're always looking, I think, in Christmas time for those traditions, the things that remind us of the past, that kind of keep us connected as a sort of timeline of where we're at in our lives and in our families' lives. And there's something about getting that particular ornament each year and then putting them up and trying to remember, like, oh, that was 2019. What was that Christmas like? Where were we?
Yeah.
What did we do that year? So yeah, that's my number 2 is our yearly personalized family ornament.
Well, that's very convenient because my number 2 is family ornaments as well. Look at us.
That's only the second time that this has happened.
Ever in the history of our show. We've chatted about this on the show before. My family has this really cool tradition, where every year, ever since I was a kid, like you get to pick out an ornament, and almost every time it's been at the Hallmark store. Ever since I was a child, I think I shared, like, my brother went through this phase where, like, he was like, didn't want Hallmark Channel ornaments. He would get like a hard drive as an ornament from like, geekiness.com or whatever. I don't even know what the website was. But I love the tradition of like picking out a new ornament every year. And what's really fun is, like, for me as a kid, it was all about like the playful ornaments and like getting really sort of silly stuff. And then as I got a little bit older, I went through, I was like, oh, I got to get things that are a little bit more mature. but then I sort of went back to the silly ones as well because I love the ornaments that like make noise. Mm-hmm. You know, like I've got so many like office.
Do you have the Hallmark
ornaments.
one of Sinatra where he's like standing there with an old microphone?
Yes,
yeah, that's a good one.
Emmy loves that one. I think he's singing "Fly Me to the Moon" or something like that. And that's what's really fun now is I shared last season that my mom asked us to come over and get all of our ornaments because they were just taking up so much space. You know, nearly 40 years of ornaments that'll happen. She kept a few like our childhood ornaments of like Baby's First Christmas and like ones that we made when we were in elementary school. But like all the playful ones are now at my house and they go on a tree that's in the dining room. And what's really fun now is Emmy and I will hang those together, and she loves like finding the ones that make noise. Yeah. And we'll press the buttons, and I'm sure that tradition is going to start with Riley now as well. It's so fun. And then even like our main tree in the living room has a lot of ornaments that like Lynn and I have collected from our trips, together, over the years. Like we got one from like a bunch of different castles that we went to in Scotland. Cool. We got one at the Palace of Versailles in France. We got one when we went to the Tower of London and saw the family jewels. Wow. So we just have all these like really, really cool ornaments that like signify places that we've been.
Your adventures.
Oh yeah. And my favorites, I think by far in terms of design are, we've been fortunate enough to go to Club 33 a number of times because a good friend of mine is a member. Yeah. And we weren't able to buy the ornaments, but because only members get them. So like if we go around the holidays, we usually go with him. But if we don't get to go that year, he always texts me. He goes, "Hey, do you want the ornament this year?" Wow. I'm like, darn right I do. Yeah. And they're so big and heavy that like we've had to get those like ornament like stands. Yeah. And so like our little entertainment unit, they're on our entertainment unit. And one of them is literally like looking through the window, and there's like a full-on table set up with the silverware and all that sort of stuff. It's they know how to do it. Yeah. At Club 33, and then they know how to charge you for it too. Someday. Well, maybe I'll call my friend. I don't want to drop his name here on the podcast, but I didn't know that you'd never been. Oh no, we're gonna make it happen.
I would love that.
Done.
I would love that.
Well, hopefully it's done. Hopefully I got to reach out to you.
That's right. All right, we're to my number one. This is a good one. This is, I might get emotional about this one. So, my number one Christmas decoration is, I wrote it as my Silent Night bell. Now, this was a decoration that was in my parents' house growing up. That it's this little bell that you just would put like on a coffee table. It's so 80s because it's like that kind of velvet. It's like a bell covered in velvet. Yeah. And then it has like kind of a braid around the back or around the bottom. It has this gold tassel, and then on the front, like 3/4 of it is covered by red velvet, and then the front quarter is filled with like a painting of Mary and Jesus. And then it's a music box, and so you can turn it on the bottom, and it plays Silent Night, and it's just like it plays it really slowly. It plays it in that perfect like music box kind of way. Yeah. It is probably the thing that is, if I had to hold one thing that reminded me most of Christmas, and especially of like my mom and my dad and like growing up, it would be that bell. And it's funny because it's my parents, right? So it's still at my parents' house. But I think years ago I said to my mom, I was like, that needs to come to me eventually. Like that's gonna be my bell. And I think my brother wants it too, but I don't know if I did it or my mom put a piece of tape that says "For Eric" that's on the bottom, and it's been there for years. So every time I look at it, I make sure, okay, still coming to me. Oh, that's great. Eventually. But there's just something about it. It is so sweet and simple, and we talk about this kind of idea all the time, that like the holiday can be big and festive and loud and joyful, and then the fun part is in the midst of all that to find the really quiet, honest, simple moments. And to me, that's what that bell is. It's like no matter how big and crazy the decorations and the festivities can get, there's like that little thing that is quiet and small and simple, and like the reason for the season and all that stuff. So it's that's my number one, is Silent Night bell.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Mine's very heartfelt as well, as I think those are the things that stick out to us in our mind. And I think originally when I thought of like number one item that like gets me excited, I think the Christmas tree gets me very excited. But as you were, sitting here talking, it made me start like racking my brain for like, what's like that one thing that reminds me of my childhood? But something that's still a part of my Christmas to this day, obviously the ornaments, yes, but my stocking. I have one of those stockings. I'm sure so many people do as well. That was like the hand knitted one that's got like the blank like red velvet on the back.
Yes.
And it's got this old like fraying little rope string thing that like hangs on your little,
like kind of crocheted look.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it says, it's got that bar across the top for your name.
Yep.
It says Danny across the top. And then it's got like Santa Claus on it. And it feels old.
Yeah.
It was made for me when I was just a little child, and I love that every year, now that we don't, necessarily go and celebrate Christmas morning at, my folks' house anymore. Whenever we do Christmas morning, or if it's the next day or whatever, my mom loads up all these like Costco boxes with all the gifts but she brings the stockings.
That's great.
And like my sister has a custom one that was knit for her, and my brother has one that was like crocheted for him, and same for me. And, my mom, made that stocking for me. And every year to this day, she packs it full of all the little goodies. And it's the one thing that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I got it. I didn't even thought of that.
That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
start crying thinking about it. But like, we talk about tradition a lot on this show, and we start creating new traditions, for our kids. And, but Christmas is still special to us, and our childhood Christmases, I think, are what laid the foundation for what we now want to pass off to our kids. And I just love that, like, all the ups and downs of life, I'm sure the bell is very similar for you, is that like all the joys, all the failures, all the sadness, all the confusion, everything that's ever gone on, there's one thing I can depend on. It's Christmas, but also like that stocking is always going to be hung with care. And that our parents, I don't know if your parents do this, but like my mom hangs all the stockings. Yeah. Even though none of us have lived with her for years now. Yeah. But our 5 family stockings are always up there. That's just like, that's really special.
Yeah. That's really great. It's kind of, as you were saying that, I was thinking, because my mom has one of that knitted. It says Eric, and it's a snowman with some gifts, I think is how it looks. But it's like old and tattered now, and then it kind of makes you go like, shoot, that thing's as old as me. Am I old and tattered? And it gives you a little like reminder of your own sort of life and mortality and the journey that we've been on. And I mean, I think that most people feel this way. Like, I'm 41 years old, but I still feel young. I still feel like I feel like I think my brain is like a 20-year-old. Like, that's how I think. I don't feel like I'm thinking like an old man. But then sometimes you see something like that reminds you of like, you really have been around for 41 Christmases.
That's crazy.
And like, there's good and bad with that. And like that sort of reminder of how it was and what it looked like at the beginning. And can you like get back to that? Can you appreciate that? Can you still sort of remember the feelings that you had as a child? And if they were good, can you then give that experience to your kids to hopefully have 40 years from now when they're looking back?
It just, it makes me think about like, we have our stockings at my house, but they were just ones like, oh, that looks really nice at Home Goods or Target. Like there's no history behind it, and there's just
we have ones that are like,
that,
they're red and they each have our initial on them, but we got them at like Target or something.
Right. Like just, maybe that's something we've lost along the way. I don't know how many people still do that. I know I think my mom made one, I believe, for Emmy that lives at her house. Yeah. Because she's still like, that's what's great is even the grandkids now have their own stocking that's like a grandma stocking.
You know what we should do is we should look up, because I actually think it's not knitting and it's not crocheting, it's needlepoint.
Is it? Oh,
that's what I think we're both thinking of. Needlepoint.
Yes.
And I think I could be wrong. I said that very confidently.
But it has like that mesh thing that you have to go through with the pattern, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's I'm thinking the same thing. Okay. We should look up if they still sell those. I'm sure they do. Yeah. And we should make those for our
moms.
kids or for our moms too. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
But we should make them for our kids so
Dude,
that they can have that. Even though we have the same thing as you. We have like they're very beautiful looking stockings. Yeah. But they're not necessarily as personal as something like that. So
oh my gosh. I know what I will be doing as soon as we wrap up here today. I will be blowing my nose, wiping my tears, and then I'm going to look up some
needlepointing a stocking.
Oh,
this was a good one.
Yeah.
And sort of unexpectedly emotional.
I'm right there with you.
I would have thought top 5 Christmas decorations would have been just not a throwaway episode, but just like, I like the lights and the trees and the garland and, but But I think that, we're, as we always do, especially as we get closer and closer to the actual big day, the emotions start welling up more and more. So,
oh yeah,
this was a good one. I loved
glad
your
to have been on the
list.
journey,
I enjoyed my list as well, and the game was good. Thank you, Emilio.
And Jonathan Bennett.
Jonathan Bennett was so great.
What a delight
This was a good episode. We hope you enjoyed it as well. That concludes episode 16 of season 2 of the Christmas Countdown Show. And as we do every single episode, as we like to close it out, we like to remind you and say Merry Christmas
and Happy Holidays.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
See ya.